Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your time zone, and welcome to Moral Compass 101. It's my humble prayer that you have had a good week. Mine has been okay. And in the word of the psalmist, 121 and verses 7, the Lord has kept me from harm, and indeed, He has watched over my life. First and foremost, I'll take this chance to thank the Almighty God for the sufficiency of His grace and the abundance of His mercies. This far is Ebenezer. In our last topic, we discussed the three types of social capital, namely building, bridging, and linking social capital. And today, we'll outline the three dimensions of social capital. And before then, I'll implore you to subscribe to Moral Compass 101. And I thank everybody who has made it this journey to be a credible journey. We just hit 100 subscribers, and as we continue with the trajectory, I'm so grateful for your support. Also, please comment so that we can interact, and like and share to spread knowledge collectively. Thank you as you do that. As we come to the end of this topic, social capital, today we'll handle dimensions of social capital, which are three in number. The three dimensions of social capital, namely cognitive, structural, and relational, are corrective dependables of the three types of social capital. The three dimensions of social capital, namely structural, cognitive, and relational, are corrective dependables of the three types of social capital. Hence, my definition of three dimensions of social capital as the essentials for the effectiveness, efficiency, and viability of social capital that facilitates the collaboration that ensues the desired results. This means that the three types of social capital that we handled last week their viability depends on the three dimensions of social capital that we're gonna handle today. I'll outline the three dimensions of social capital in their progressive order or in their sequence, and we will start with number one, which is cognitive. Cognitive is the what dimension of social capital. This is the what dimension of the social capital. Cognitive is the shared meaning or goals, the understanding and the interpretation between or among individuals, such as common values, beliefs, narratives, and purpose that reinforces and facilitates the effectiveness, the efficiency, and the viability of the relationship through cultural and ideological aspects. This is a coming together where your coming together is determined by these common values that you share with those people you deem to be members of your social circle. A perfect example is the common purpose, where cognitive dimension of social capital provides a shared mindset and a framework that allows the group members to understand, interact, and relate with each other in a meaningful way on the reason is the why, and the function, that's the what, of their sociability. In other words, this dimension brings up the aspect of the what and the why of forming your social circle. This occurrence creates cognitive resonance between the shared actions. The shared actions are the what. What do you share in common? What actions do you share in common of your social circle, and the reason is the why of your coming together. The aspect of cognitive dimension brings the concept of a cognitive resonance. Cognitive resonance is the state of harmony between or among the concepts that creates efficiency and effectiveness. Nonetheless, it's worth noting that cognitive dimension is not a matter of cause versus effect, but rather a dynamic interplay where actions, the what, and the reason, the why, are inseparable and hence coexist in a continuous reciprocal feedback loop where cause can influence effect and vice versa. Uh, Cognitive dimensions of social capital is not a cause versus effect aspect where that a cause will automatically yield to an effect, but it's an interplay. This occurrence creates a mutually reinforcing cycle and an interdependent system where both cause and effect are consistently in flux. You know, it's a reciprocity, because under cause and effect, there is the consistency that an effect is always a result of the cause. But in these circumstances, in this aspect, there can be some other external forces that can bring an effect. It does not only depend on the cause. Hence, it's a reciprocity. They work hard in order to effectuate and necessitate and also bring the desired results of the social circle. So, our second item is the structural dimension. This is the who dimension of social capital. Structural dimension of social capital are the actual network patterns, the rules, the laws, the guidelines, and the regulations that constitute and facilitate social connection and its adherence to corrective actions of sociability and simultaneously define who is connected to whom in your social circle. This is the structure, just like the name suggests, it's the structure of your social circle. What are the guidelines? What are the guiding principles? What are your rules, the regulations that every member of the social circle is supposed to observe? A perfect example of structural dimension of social capital are family ties. There are rules and regulations in every family. The community-based organizations, they have rules and regulations that you have to adhere to. And also your WhatsApp groups and the like. When somebody at the admin, starts a WhatsApp group, there is the rules and the guidelines why is the reason of that group, you know. So these are all the structures that are put in place for the efficiency and effectiveness of a social circle. The structural dimension is considered to be a more tangible and observable since it's based on the existence of network ties and formal structures, unlike intangible uh, that intangible of what and how people think in cognitive dimension. This is something that it's a reality. There are things that you have to adhere to. They are they are made to guide each and every member, but on cognitive that we just dealt with, they are not tangible things. So this is a matter of tangibility. Its tangibility aspect is depicted through social interaction accessibility that facilitates an effective, efficient, and a viable cooperation between or among the group members. That the tangibility aspect of this structure, is incumbent on the interactions accessibility. You know, you have to interact when you're in a group, in a social group. One of the things that you have joined the social group is the interaction accessibility. So that's a fact. So that's a tangible aspect of this structural dimension of social capital. And this brings us to the third and the final dimension of social capital, namely relational dimension of social capital. This is the how dimension of social capital, the how dimension. How do you relate? Relational dimension of social capital is the quality, underline the word quality, and the nature of relationship between or among individuals that focuses on viable interpersonal aspects like trust, trust, and what else? Expectations, norms of reciprocity, mutual obligations, shared identity that facilitates the effectiveness and the efficiency of the social group, and sanctions that can befall an errant member of that social group. It's divided into two aspects, the facilitators, the trust, the expectations, the normacy of reciprocity, the mutual obligations, this and this, the shared identity. These are the facilitators, and also they are the other crust of it are the sanctions. If you fail to pray by the facilitators, if you're not trustworthy, what are the sanctions that can befall you? If you don't observe mutual reciprocity, what are the sanctions that can befall you as a member of this social cluster or this social group? This requirement provides a foundation of effective and efficient members and hence a viable connection that offers mutual support. Relational dimension is therefore an inherently moral dimension that relies on qualities like trust, integrity, and different obligations that govern how people treat each other. It involves the ethical decisions and behavioral norms within the network of relationship that impact the quality of social interactions and their outcomes. Relational dimensional social capital is more of an ethical, aspect. of a social dimension where, integrity comes into play, where trust comes into play, accountability comes into play, and there is no any relationship whatsoever that can exist outside the confinement of relational aspect of or dimension of social capital. In closing, not substantive and constructive relationship, be it family, friends, or corporate relationship, can become viable in absence of essential ethical frameworks, what I call EEF, since they are the principal guidelines on matters structured decision making, consistency, adaptability, plus trust and accountability. I'll repeat that statement. Not any substantive and constructive relationship, be it family, friends, or corporate relationship, can become viable in absence of essential ethical frameworks, since they are the principles and the guidelines on matters structured decision making, consistency, adaptability, plus trust and accountability. So, as we close on social capital, you have to reference the types of social capital vis-a-vis the dimensions that support these social capitals, these types of social capital. But all in all, the ethical framework is a must when it comes to any kind of social relationship. Until next time, please stay safe. Blessings and shalom.